Hello and welcome. I used Visual Studio Code to edit a Lua script, which runs inside MAME, while it is emulating a Coco 3 that runs NitrOS-9. Logo bingo! In a previous video, we peered under the hood of NitrOS-9 with the aid of a Lua script that shows the processes that are running and their memory maps. Today, we peer under the hood of the very tool that enabled us to peer under the hood of NitrOS-9. We will go over how that Lua script works. If you don't know much about Lua scripting within MAME, I'd recommend you learn about that first. Hey, I did a video on that. You can just check that video out now, and I'll wait for you here. Today we're going to learn about the 35-year-old assembly code that I started with to help me write the Lua script, and we'll learn about the sacred covenant that I have broken by writing this Lua script, and the dangers that might befall you should you choose to use it as well. If you would like to use the Lua script, there is a link in the description to download it. But for now, let's get started learning how it works. Cancel your plans, it's Coco time! As a recap, the Lua script we're going to be going over today is this. Whenever I hit the / key, I toggle this overlay between displayed and not displayed, and it shows the currently running processes. And so if I were to run my Hello World app, and we can see Hello World gets added, and it's in red because it's hogging all of the CPU. I could then run another copy of it. And now they're both running. And basically the idea is that it's taking the same data that pmap figures out and just displays it in a different way and in a real-time way. So if I turn it off for a second so that you can see, it's just showing the same processes, but it's just displaying the memory map in a slightly different way. So I figured a good way to get started is to just look at the pmap source, the original assembly code that was written by Kevin Darling and then modified since then. And you can find all of this stuff on GitHub because it is now open source. The repository is the NitrOS-9 project. And I found the easiest way to find a routine is to just hope that the name of the file matches the name of the routine. So if I just type pmap in here, sure enough, I can see under level 2 sys, we've got a pmap assembly. So if you click here, this will just take you to that same code I downloaded. So both the original pmap code and of course my Lua script are going to need to use the process descriptor. This is where most of the data comes from. The process descriptor is just a struct, and in os9.d, which is what we're seeing here, and what I described in the Hello World video, all of the fields of that structure are defined as RMBs. So they do an org to 0 so that the values of each of these things are going to be their offsets. And so this brings me to an important point to make explicit, which is that I am doing something illegal. I am relying on internals of this operating system that are not part of its public API surface. It's one thing if I were to call an API, which is exactly what the pmap code does. You can see plenty of OS9 calls in pmap, and that's totally fine. It's doing the right thing. It's relying on the operating system to look at its own private internal stuff and to do what you ask it. Unfortunately, with this Lua script that's running on an emulator on top of everything, I don't have the luxury of running code inside the emulated machine. So I'm peering from outside, and I'm directly going through these structures, plucking out the things that I need. So this is at best illegal and at worst going to break immediately. There is nothing stopping the NitrOS-9 developers from releasing a new version, which adds a field somewhere and changes all the offsets for everything underneath it. By the way, if any of you folks happen to be watching this video, I would be curious if you would let me know how likely that is. I don't know how often these things change. Maybe what I'm doing is illegal but safe. So if you have any insight, I'd be curious to know about that. But everyone should understand that caveat that this script that I'm releasing is doomed to break, maybe. In order to hard code the offsets, I needed to know what the offsets are, and I don't trust myself to do a bunch of arithmetic. So I just made use of LWASM. In fact, my Hello World app already includes the os9.d, and so the list file should give me all the offsets automatically. And sure enough, at the point in the list file where the os9.d file got included, here we see the beginning of the process descriptor, our org to 0, and then each of these fields, if I go to the left, I get to find out exactly what the offset is to get to those fields. So toward the top of my script, I just added the fields that I know I'm going to need, and I just took the values I saw from the list file and plugged them in here, like some kind of barbarian. You'll notice to avoid any weird naming issues with putting an embedded $sign or an embedded dot inside the name of a variable, I just turned those into lowercase d's. So let's just do a quick, very high-level view of how the script works. I'm using the same technique that I used in that previous video on writing Lua scripts within MAME, which is I register one function to be called every time it's time to render a frame. Draw overlay is that function, and the first thing it does is check to see whether it should do anything based on whether the backslash has been pressed. Then a bunch of code that was kind of taken and ported from the original pmap code and stuff that it called from within NitrOS-9. Think of this as like porting assembly to Lua. And then once that was all done, we draw each table. So this is all in a loop that gets called once per process. And so for each of those processes, we draw that rectangular tabular map for the process. That function is drawMap, and it takes everything that it needs on the parameter list. And it just does a bunch of drawing stuff and color stuff and texts and boxes. I'm not really going to go over this, because I think the interesting part is really how that data was gathered to get this to run in the first place. So for the rest of this video, we're going to focus on the code that actually gathers that information. The pmap code that I'm porting uses $GProcP to get a copy of the process descriptor. That's a public API function. It's documented in the technical documentation. And it grabs the requested process descriptor from using the system memory map, and then copies it into the memory space of the calling process. It turns out that $GProcP is really just a small wrapper around the real workhorse, which is $GProcP. So that's the thing I needed to port. This is what's responsible for finding the actual pointer to the process descriptor. And the rest of this is just about copying memory into the address space of the caller. So the Lua script has some code which takes what $GProcP does in order to find that pointer to the process descriptor. In a sense, my task was much easier than the task of originally writing the assembly code because Lua is a higher level language, and it's just easier to write more concise and clear code in a higher level language than assembly. At least that's my opinion. Some of you may choose to disagree. But there is definitely a sense in which what I'm doing is harder. Since I don't get to call system calls, I've got to do everything myself by peering into it from the outside. And part of that means grabbing the memory maps, both of the system and also for each process that I need to peer into. And the very first thing I need to do is grab the system memory map. That's referred to as the system.image. So back to os9.d, and I can use this as my offset, indeed my address, for finding the system.image. But then that brings up another question. How do I actually peer into the memory in the first place? Near the top of my script, after all of my hard-coded constants from NitrOS-9, I also have a bunch of globals that point to useful objects that MAME exposes. In particular, I needed to get to the physical RAM, not just the logical 64K that you normally get to, but the actual underlying physical RAM. And the way to do that is you start on the MAME manager object, you grab its machine object under that, you go through the devices list, and the device we want is this, RAM. I put that into my RAM variable, and then from that, I go through its items, and I pick out this one, 0/m_pointer, and then I store that as the physical index. Now that I have the physical index, I can go back to emu which is a global that's always exposed, I can go to its list of items and use that index to grab out the item for the physical RAM. So phys_item is going to be the object that I use to peer into the physical RAM to do all of my memory lookups. So in order to grab the sysdat image, I take the address that I stole from os9.d, and then I use this phys_item object to do a read on that address. I grab the high byte, multiply by hex 100, and add that to the low byte. And now I have my first address. I then loop through the 8 blocks, and for each of those 8 blocks, I just grab the bytes. This is going to be the high byte for that block, and I add it to the low byte for that block. That gives me the dat word stored at that location. There's a special value that says that it's free, meaning it's not used. That would be those dots that we see when pmap is run. And assuming it's not free, I grab the low byte of that word, and that's the byte that's used in the MMU. So I just store that in an array that I build up right here. So when I'm done with this loop, I'm going to have 8 bytes, each one being the value you would put at the corresponding task register on the MMU from the executive set. From this point forward, whenever I want to read a value from either the system map or one of the process maps, I'm going to be using one of these helpers. So for example, read byte from map will take that array that I just built up. It will take a logical address and then figure out what the actual value is. Here's the code. There's not really very much. We just have a bit of code to figure out what block the logical address belongs to. Then we take the value there and we multiply it by hex 2000, as we've been doing in previous videos. Add the remainder, and then we do a physical read of that memory. So we start reading memory at the very beginning just to figure out who the current process is right now, the process that's being given an execution slice from the CPU. That lets us know where to draw that red frame. And as always, I do that using the hard-coded constants I stole from os9.d. Finally, it's time to go through all the processes. The way pmap does it is it just has a loop that goes through all 256 possible byte values, because you can't have any more than 256 processes. So that's exactly what I do. I just loop from 1 to 255. PID 0 is reserved. It doesn't seem to be used by pmap, so I'm not using it either. And then I have some of the code that translates how $GProcP figures out where the process descriptor is for that PID. And it actually isn't really much. In NitrOS-9, there's a process descriptor block table pointer. So I use that pointer to read out where the high address is of the base of the process table. And then I add the PID, the current PID I'm iterating over, to that base. And then I just do a read at that location. That's going to give me the high byte of the process descriptor, which I then multiply by hex 100 to give me the address of the process descriptor. And now I can start doing my reads. Now I can go into the process descriptor and I can add values of the offsets of the different fields that I care about, like the process ID, or here's the dat image for the process, or in other words, the memory map for that process. And then I have a loop here that's quite similar to what we saw above for the system map, where I just go through each of the 8K blocks for this process, and I figure out which MMU byte corresponds to each of those blocks. So now I can use this array when I go and read bytes that are specific to a process's logical address map, just as I use the system map when I need to get stuff out of the system memory space. Next up, we check a few things about the process before continuing. So first, we check out its state and make sure it's not dead. And then we read the module field out of the process descriptor. And if that module address ends up being 0, we know it's the system. That's how we detect what a system process is. And if it's not dead and it's not system, now we have the typical case of a typical process. So we go into the module address, we add the offset for the name, and this time we're using the process's memory map. This is doing exactly what I showed before, where you can find the address where the module is loaded at in MAME, and then use the memory window in MAME to view the contents of the module. We're just doing that here in a programmatic fashion to pluck out the pieces we need. So this code just reads the characters out of the name string, and that's it. That's the only stuff we need. At this point, we have everything that's necessary to actually draw it.